Because we all want to live in a peaceful society. So if there is any conflict, then we can be influenced directly or indirectly. So my study is very important because nowadays we see different wars in different areas in the world, or different conflict in family or in different parties in the society. So if I can contribute my knowledge to conflict resolution, then I think everybody will be benefit.
What tools do you use for that purpose? I mean, do you look at how the brain works, or how do you go about when you work?
I'm building computational modelings. So the tool would be the computational models. But I also explore different theories to fit into the model, like psychology, social behavior, politics, conflict resolution, all kinds of theory that contributes to my area will be my tools.
Can you give me any specific examples, concrete examples of conflicts that you have looked into?
Yes, the conflict I'm studying is Swedish wolf issue.
Okay, that's an infected area.
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard that it's the second hottest issue in Sweden.
Okay, so tell me more about your work there. How do you go about when you try to solve that problem?
I try to interview different stakeholders and quote their opinions and how they interact with other stakeholders. And then I find some common rules so I can put them into my model. And in my computational model, I also have different stakeholders representing the real stakeholders. And then I simulate in my model how these stakeholders communicate and interact. And then I have some result from my model. This result can be some prediction of the society. So this can be useful for like advising policy making or education for the layman when they try to understand this issue.
Okay, so how far have you come to solve the conflict about the wolf in Sweden?
It's hard to tell, but I am going to publish a draft paper. Now it's under editing, and also I'm building a second models, so it's in progress.
When it comes to decision making, how do you look at that? I mean, there are a debate about how rational we are when we make decisions.
Yes.
How does the model look upon that? Does it conclude that we make rational decisions or more emotional?
Yeah, in my first model, we use the rational decision making, but in my second models, I want to introduce the emotional decision making into this process. And in my team, we plan to use the Kahneman theory, a famous ecologist, about the faster and the slow thinking, two systems into my model.
He who got the so-called Nobel Prize in economics, yes. Is it hard to take the wolf situation, for example? How concrete advice can you give to the people involved in the conflict?
I will give different scenarios. For example, if you do like this, and then what is going to happen? And then if you do otherwise, maybe something will be different.
Okay, so you present them over different scenarios. That's the way you solve it.
Yes.
Yeah. And how do you think they will react to that?
I have presented to some stakeholders, and they are very interested in my model. And also they said that it would be helpful to understand the situation, and also it can be a helpful tool for different stakeholders to communicate. Because
Okay.
in the building process, when we asked different stakeholders, usually we need them to sit together to give us feedback for the parameters we use in the model. And this process is also a communication between different stakeholders and let them to understand better of each other.
Is there international use of this kind of models? Do you have colleagues in other countries that work on the same?
You mean this
Yeah,
model in general?
yeah.
Yes, it's used all around the world.
Okay, and what's the success rate? Because I'm not so familiar with that. How successful is it?
It has been used in some cases, like in the mining society. They
Okay.
use it to understand the stakeholders, how they react to the mining project, and how the mining company can persuade local people. And also in some other, usually it's very widely used in the voting, like election for the president in America.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. But tell me finally about this wolf situation, because how are you going to use it concretely when you got when the model has worked, so to speak? Are you going to sit down with different parties then and have a discussion, or how do you plan to present it?
Yes, I think I'm going to use it maybe in some seminars or conference, or we invite some policymakers as well as some stakeholders in our seminars or workshop, and let them sit down and talk to each other and read our results and see what happened.